Alrighty, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Full Press Saints podcast, of course, here on the Full Press Coverage Network. It is your host, Alec. Today, Dayton is out. He's going to be a dad this week, so I told Dayton, hey, when the kid comes out, just gunning for your spot, so he knows better. So, happy for Dayton, wishing for a healthy, happy birthing, I guess, is the way you say that, but nonetheless, he'll be here next week, a new man and a new father at that. So, super excited for him. But today, do not worry, guys, I have a very special guest, an old friend of mine, who has really he's the new face of Saints Twitter, and in particular, the Canal Street Chronicles Twitter page.
Listen, I have not taken the name as the new face of Saints Twitter.
You are.
There is so many other people.
There are, but you're the rising one. And you hide behind the Canal Street Chronicles Twitter. I know what you tweet from it, Dylan. I know you.
Oh,
do.
yes.
I know what you tweet from it. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Dylan Sanders, follow on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. He's the co-host of the Dylan and Ross Say Sports radio show on this very same network with Full Press Coverage. He, of course, runs the social media page for the Canal Street Chronicles on Twitter. So many great things he's done. We worked together back at All Saints Considered / Section 600 on the podcast. So we both have known each other for a while. So Dylan, first of all, thanks for coming on. Second of all, that's for you guys. That's for you.
Oh, thank you.
That's for you. So
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on, dude. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Today, actually, is the 1-year anniversary of Dylan and Ross Save Sports.
What? And I scheduled you to come on today to
Yeah.
talk about your show even more?
Exactly. What? Well, it's the day as we're recording, June 1st. But tomorrow it'll be, a year and a day. And that's just as important to me.
And here we round down. So we round down, so it's a year.
Okay, yeah, that works. I guess. I mean, I don't get the logic behind it, but I'm all for it. I like trying new things. Maybe I'll try that out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. We round down in Texas.
I also today took the official title as TikTok guru for Nick Underhill. So
I love seeing that.
That just means I edit his TikToks. So I'm also technically an employee of New Orleans.network. So I'm all over the place.
Unpaid intern, right? It's an unofficial.
Oh no, it's a paying job.
Hey,
I'm paid. I'm a paid intern. Yeah. Listen, you write about so many salary cap articles and get so many people to subscribe, you can afford to pay people to edit your TikToks. That's my goal.
And if you take all the when is the Ted get coming off the injury reserve questions, then hey, you got the money for that, right?
Exactly. Ted, where is Ted? I'm really just trying to infiltrate Nick from the inside and just find out truly where Ted Ginn is. Because he refuses to answer the question.
It's like War on Earth is Carmen Sandiego. It's War on Earth is Ted Ginn, and when's he coming off injured reserve?
Exactly.
We could have used him this year as a number 2 receiver.
Yeah, and could we have?
Okay. The question is, Saints Chiefs. Did you want to see Little Jordan Humphrey and Juwan Johnson out there, or would you rather seen them two with Ted Ginn?
Okay, Alec, I need to ask you a question. This is important.
Shoot.
What is your obsession with all of the worst Saints players in history
and
loving them?
Hey, we don't do that, right? We don't slander some of the great unknowns in Saints history like that. If Tommy Lee Lewis is goated, he is forever part of one of the most infamous plays in NFL history.
Yeah, for getting bullied.
Hey! It's like okay. If I'm playing in the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. If I get dunked on by LeBron and posterized, I'm not gonna be upset because, hey, that's me getting dunked by LeBron James, right?
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna bring this over. Here. This is a conversation me and Ross have all the time here on the same network.
Okay.
I think, given 5 possessions, I could score on Trae Young. What do you think?
I like your odds.
Right? Is he not the worst player defensively in the league?
Don't tell New York fans that.
Hey. I mean, give me 5 possessions against New York Knicks, I'm scoring 5 times, you know what I mean? Only if it's in the Garden, though.
Hey, for only at Madison Square Garden, and
Yeah. Everyone knows the Knicks are always the second best team to play in the Madison Square Garden.
it's never going to change. Never, ever will that change. But to your point, Tommy Lee Lewis, goated. Patrick Robinson, he is top tier goat. Nobody outdoes P-Rob. Because you know what? When we need a solid number 2 corner at the most random times, he's come through. Except for, that game against the Chargers Monday night. That was all PJ's fault. We don't talk about that.
Listen.
He's goated. Juwan Johnson, goated.
I'll jump on the Juwan Johnson train. Whenever he gets switched to tight end.
You could be on his payroll.
Hey, listen, I'm expanding my portfolio as much as possible.
Who else am I forgetting? Terrible Saints that I feel like there's somebody else I'm forgetting. Oh, Dez Bryant. Remember that?
He was never even on the roster.
Oh, he practiced.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, he was on the roster.
Yeah,
he
he
would never touch the game field, though.
He touched a game ball, though.
I guess.
At practice.
I guess.
He's goated.
Colt He's McCoy. A goated meme. Colt McCoy.
He's not a Saint.
He's officially has never been a Saint.
He's an honorary Saint, in my opinion.
I'll give Colt McCoy to you. I loved Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley so much.
But not Case McCoy and Jackson Shipley. We don't talk about them a whole lot.
No, they don't exist.
No. Yeah. All I'm going to say is every Texas fan be like, if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt, we end the Bama Dynasty before it starts. That's very true.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I remember watching that. I was devastated watching that live.
Yeah, I was in true pain when I saw Marcel Darius' big old booty sit on Colt McCoy. Life wasn't the same since then. Because then he went to Cleveland, and back then that was when the Browns were the Browns, and you didn't want to go to Cleveland if you were a quarterback. It could be worse. He could have been Bradford and gone on the Rams. Or Tebow, and then, actually Tebow's back in the NFL, so I really can't complain. But hey, it's all good. All my bad Sam players are goated in my eyes. And come week 1, when Jordan Love is playing against Jameis Winston in the Dome, you're going to see that lineup for the defense. It's going to go Patrick Robinson, cornerback, Florida State University. And you know what? We can't do anything about that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep. I love these talks. So, Dylan, let's talk about some of your more recent, your big time recent interviews over on the Canal Street Chronicles with first round pick Peyton Turner, as well as a fellow Dylan.
Our names are super close.
They really are. It was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell me, the process of figuring out what questions to ask. Just really how to get in touch with these guys, because most players will give you the generic player / coach answer, if you will. But you kind of went down deep and got some really creative questions, and these guys, they responded pretty well. So tell me what that was like to interview 2 now current Saint players.
Well, see, most people either won't reply or they think that. But you know how I got in touch with Peyton Turner and Dylan Sainer?
I'm really intrigued because I could use this tip, I feel like.
It's how I approach talking to athletes in general. Mm-hmm. The simple question is just treat them like a human. Whenever Dylan Sainer got drafted, I DM'd him, "Welcome, brother," and that and he started talking. We started talking. Peyton Turner, I was like, "Yo, fam, welcome to New Orleans. Glad to have you." And then they started talking, and eventually I was just like, "Hey, you want to come do an interview?" And it's usually something like that, like just getting in on a human level, and then eventually
treating athletes like normal people. Something you would think that should have been just something we do. Evidently, we don't. It's a society.
No, especially not the past couple week. No. But being at the Senior Bowl and watching other people talk to the players and stuff like that, it's given me a perspective of just these. Wow, they're humans. They're not really we're just watching people play on a football field, and after they leave the football field, they're just us.
Yep.
But they're usually really large and really rich. But they're still us. They're still humans. So just treat them like that, and then they'll treat you like that. But I pride myself with my interviews because I frame them and I organize them in a certain way to where I think it'll loosen them up in the beginning with like some softball questions, and then by the time we get past like the introductory stuff, they're comfortable and they start giving real answers.
Yeah, I feel that 100%.
I was going to say, I've also... I'm ascending. That was my Mac just turned on.
You've been goated at Saints Twitter. That's what that was.
My Mac is starting up next to me. But I got really lucky because Peyton Turner and Dylan Sander are just really chill dudes. Mm-hmm. Me and the Peyton Turner interview was about 20 minutes. We talked for about 40 minutes on that podcast because there was literally like a 10-minute stretch where we were just talking about the Houston Rockets, and I was like, no Saints fan cares about this, but I'm glad I had that interview. I'm glad I had that conversation, and we just started talking like stuff like off the cuff, off the record, and just he's just a chill dude, and yeah, so they're both just awesome people. Some people have inquired to me about how they called me Nardwar, if you know who that is, or Sean Evans. The way I knew some of these like really personal stuff and personal stories, like the cactus story in the Peyton Turner interview. And to that, I just say, I don't reveal my sources.
Yeah, you come out, with the question out of left field. Hey, so when you were 7 years old, and you go, whoa, 7? What?
How do you know? How do you know this?
Talk to mama. But I mean, earlier you mentioned that, and of course, I know you and Ross and Brandon Olson over at Whole Nine Sports, you guys went to the Senior Bowl. The really funny thing about the Senior Bowl this year in particular was the fact that, it felt like in rounds 4 through 7, so many guys from the Senior Bowl got drafted. And you normally don't see that happen a whole lot, but with, no combine, limited pro days, and some teams haven't been doing that altogether. It was even a bigger opportunity for a lot of these guys to shine. And a lot of these Saints players came out of the Senior Bowl, so... I
have a piece of information
about
why I think that happened.
Do share.
Just from being there, I learned, and one of the reasons that the player media interviews were so limited this year was that every player met with every team. They set up an interview for every player, and every team got to talk at the Senior Bowl because they knew that it would be the only.
Real opportunity to do it.
Yeah, so the Saints talked to every single player at the Senior Bowl.
Wow.
Every player talked to every NFL team at the Senior Bowl.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, we would never have seen this happen, of course, with COVID and no Senior Bowl. I'm sorry, no combine, limited pro days, or no pro days for some schools. It just made so much sense. But that's crazy. I mean, talk to 32 different teams must be a lot for a college player. And as you mentioned earlier, we must prioritize treating athletes like normal people, and and
I also have a good Saints piece of information from Canal Street that's completely out of left field. But former Florida Gator was former Florida Gator, now New York Giant,
Tim Tebow,
Kadarius Toney was on the sidelines after practice, and he wasn't doing media interviews or anything, but he was just talking to some people, some of the media people there, and I asked him if he would ever do a song with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And to that he replied, "No chance. I'm going to have that dude wanting people to punch me on the field."
It's really funny you just mentioned that because I remember we all talked about Chauncey Garner getting into battle with Sean Payton. That would be fun. He just mentioned with the whole out of left field questions that are personal, come out of nowhere, and you have no idea how they found that information. I feel like Sean Payton would be the guy to get that information and use it. Right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. He make you. He finds some deep dark things you didn't even know about yourself.
Yeah, or I feel like Sean Payton would find a story about that and love it, the fact that the cactus story. I'll go further into it. He got poked by a cactus in competition with his sister, and then he didn't want to lose. Like he didn't want to feel like he got beat by the cactus, so he ripped it up. He ripped up like 10 cacti, small cacti, with his hands, just so he wouldn't lose. And ended up like having to spend hours getting needles picked out. But hey, he did it. And if there's nothing more like football of putting your body on the line to win,
Hey,
he has experience.
try putting your hand on 10 cacti and see how that goes.
I'd rather that than try and do a pass rush against Trent Williams.
Yeah, he will murder somebody on the field one day, I promise you. So
And Richie Incognito would murder someone off the field
and bully them.
and bully them.
That was a wild time in Miami.
Sheesh.
Honestly, dude. But this has been a relatively, and I say this considering the past off seasons we have had as Saints fans. This has been relatively more quiet-ish, if you will. Not a whole lot of moves were made for free agency. I mean, I know how people reacted about the draft. I'll admit I was one of those people with that. But I realized I went back and watched everything, and it made sense. So if you were to give me a grade or a word to summarize the entirety of this offseason, I mean, how would you feel about it?
I really hate grades. I love reading grades and stuff like that.
You hate giving them out.
I really do hate grades because there's really no way to tell what this class is going to be like. But if I had to pick one word for this offseason, it would be intriguing. Pete Werner was an intriguing pick. I think Pete Werner is going to be a 10-year NFL player where he's never the best player on the field, but also never the worst player on the field.
Is it really weird that when we saw it, we drafted Pete, the first player that came to mind? Do you know who it was?
Who?
It was Scott Shanley. That was the exact player.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I mean, a linebacker playing in the middle of nowhere in the mid-U.S., Caucasian, if you will.
If you will?
Yeah.
It is a fact.
He played at Ohio State,
Yeah.
But yeah, it screams Scott Shanley, and I love. He probably is going to be that guy where he'll be healthy, he'll make a big play here or there, but other than he's a solid, reliable guy you can count on. I mean, it screams that to me.
I'll say, having watched him, his north to south speed is incredible. He's fast.
Yep.
Dude's fast. East to west, he's not that rangy, but I think paired with Demario Davis, in this Saints specific defense where they love to blitz their linebackers, I think that he's going to be a great pick, a great pickup. I think Paulson Adebo might start day one.
Patrick Robinson, but okay.
No, come on, man, let it go. Do you want a fun tidbit about Paulson Adebo that I have since I haven't gotten an interview with Paulson Adebo yet?
Oh, what's that?
He competed in Stanford's Got Talent 2 years ago, and he sang.
Really? Do you know what he sang?
I do not remember, but I can find it in like 2 seconds. Peyton Turner. I love the Peyton Turner pick.
Yep.
Dude's bought in completely. He's bought in. Like, bought in. Wants the ball out. He told me, and he's texted me, like, he is ready to put on for the city already.
Yeah.
And there's one thing about New Orleans, people have said it. You love the city, they'll love you back.
That is true. It's a really unique city that I think is a lot more connected to its, I want to say sport teams, but I'm just stick to football because I know how New Orleans feels about the Pelicans. And every other sport in Louisiana.
Oh man, the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm not a Pelicans fan.
Neither am I, but I do check in, and it's rough. I do check in occasionally. It's rough. But I mean, I think there was the snap. Was it Peyton Turner, Ian Book, and was it Quan Baker? They were out eating in New Orleans.
I don't remember who it was.
It was someone's Instagram story. I know Peyton Turner and Ian Book were there. And I believe it was... Oh, Pete Werner was there too. And they were out eating... They were checking out the local restaurants in New Orleans. So I mean,
It's Cat Cafe, right?
yes, I believe so. But,
it was
oh, you got the song.
MGMT's Kids. Kids by MGMT.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And the funny thing about Paulson Debo is I actually watched him play high school football down here, right across the street from my high school. Kid was a baller.
You got to see him moss some people.
Yeah, we weren't very good at Mansfield, so we were.
I will say, good song choice. That album,
fire.
Oracular Spectacular, great album by MGMT. Shout out.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. I respect that whole album in its entirety.
But yeah, no, Peyton Turner, I'm excited. The UDFAs are fun. Quan Baker, I'm excited for.
Yep.
I really don't know what they're going to do with him, but it's going to be fun. Dude runs like a running back.
You think
after the catch?
You think it missed the one roster?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he brings so much. He's really just seems like a bigger Deontay Harris, but also not in the same. Like they'll find their own different roles, but they're also not too dissimilar. But I think he makes the day one roster. Dylan Sainer, I had the pleasure of interviewing. The dude is completely bought in. He's been a Saints fan since he was a kid, and he's ready to do whatever it takes. He's one where I wouldn't be surprised. I would love for him to make the roster. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a practice squad guy. But they gave him a lot of money for a UDFA guy. They gave him a lot more than the average UDFA makes. So they really wanted him, and I think that they can use him. He's just a blocking tight end with the potential to develop into more because he has done more. It's just not what he's been asked to do.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe their potential Josh Hill replacement, if you will.
They're running the same number.
Hey, there we go. That's all we need. 89 is all you need. Goated. Boom.
Goated.
That's the word of the day is goated. We're so young, dude.
You don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell me. I ranked rap albums today with Nick Underhill and Ross, and then I realized how old they are. They're the oldest dudes ever. I'm joking. I'm joking. I love that fight.
Oh, God.
Bunch of old heads.
Hey, nothing wrong with the old heads. They got the wisdom to pass on, and the knowledge. Knowledge is key in all this.
I do want to say one other thing about a Saints UDFA, and it has really nothing to do with him. But it's just a number that really just shocked me. Nolan Cooney out of Syracuse. Do you know how many times he punted last year? Do you know the number of punts?
Give me an over under like on a
over under 50.
I'll go. The way you're setting this up, I feel like it's under, but I'll go with over. I feel like you're messing with me here.
All right. Over under 60.
Hey, dang, 60. Wow.
Over under 60.
I'll go. Let's go over again.
All right, over under 70.
I feel like this is really silly.
I'll give you second place was Zach von Rosenberg out of LSU with 59 punts.
Okay.
Which that's a lot.
That is a lot. Let's go with over.
All right. He punted 74 times.
Good Lord Almighty.
In 11 games.
Goodness. How was he not drafted?
I don't know, but it's just because that just shocks me as to how terrible Syracuse's offense was. How do you field a team that poorly where you're having someone punt 74 times?
Okay. Well, it's like this. I go to UNT, North Texas. We're not very good football-wise.
Yeah.
The last good guy we had before Jalen Darden that went drafted. Mean Joe Green, by default. The last good Syracuse player I could think about.
I'll give you an idea. If you watch UNT football, they punted 37 times. To give you an idea of how much 74 is.
That's a lot because we're not good at all. We're not good.
I used to have Rico Bussey. I loved him just because of his name.
Hey, he was a stud down here. He was a legend on Fry Street.
He was.
But
It's called Fry Street?
That's like the bar street. That's where everybody goes to party. The stadium's called Apogee Stadium.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it's a cool stadium. But 74. Yeah, and the last good Syracuse player I can think about is Donovan McNabb, which kind of just tells you what Syracuse has done since Donovan McNabb when drafted in 99, 98, if I'm correct, one of the two. God, that's so bad. 74. What is the average on that per game? That is what 13 or
7.4 punts per game.
God, dog.
It's a little bit under that. It was 11 games.
11 games.
But still a lot. Still a lot of punts.
Hell, there were streaks the last 2 years and Morstead had punt for like 3 or 4 games. God.
Yeah, no. Imagine watching Syracuse football.
Golly,
couldn't be me.
I could never.
Unless I'm watching their defense because they've had some ballers.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Trill Williams. I'm sad about that man.
Yeah, what was the felt physical, right? That's what happened.
Felt physical. Then they were like, "All right, let's bring it back." And then the Dolphins were like, "Actually, nah, we good."
Miami said, the Saints DB with the felt physical. Give me
all about it.
Seriously, but
the Penn State the punter battle is going to be oddly intriguing.
It's a battle nobody's talking about, but I feel like we should be.
Because we just talked about him. He punted 74 times with an average of 44.8 yards per punt, which is not bad. But we also have Blake Gillikin, who in one week he had 354 punt yards, 5 of them inside the 20 and 3 inside the 10 in 1 week for Penn State. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. It's crazy to think, for what, 12 years we've had Morstead, and now he's gone, and now there's a hole at the punter position as well as the quarterback position. And let me ask you a little trivia question here. Do you know who the oldest Saint on the roster is right now? Now that Breeze and Morstead are gone.
I mean, it's probably someone. It's probably someone you're in love with. So
it is
Patrick Robinson.
Yay! There we go. By a couple months, he's older than Malcolm Jenkins. Believe it or not. So, yeah, Patrick Robinson. I had to fit that in somewhere in the show. I gotta throw in my boy P-Rob somewhere. I don't know why.
You gotta throw him in something. The fact that he's the oldest player.
Hey.
Oh, do you want to know a fact that makes me feel better to be a Saints fan?
What's that?
The Houston Texans are on pace to be the worst team and also the oldest team in the NFL. They do have the oldest roster in the NFL.
They have the oldest running back room in the NFL. What are you talking about?
They have the oldest roster. They have in all age rates. They have the oldest team in the NFL, and they're also the worst.
I just don't understand what the philosophy is behind. Okay, your quarterback has some questions, so you're not going to have him for this year, most likely. So you think the next best solution to remain competitive is instead of dumping all your old contracts of overpaid veterans, you bring in a bunch of veterans on 1-year deals.
And I don't get the Davis Sims pick because if you're going to be that bad, just be that bad with a crappy quarterback and draft someone high next year.
And they traded for what's his name was it Ryan Finley from the Bengals? And they cut him. Yeah. So I just don't get the logic.
That team doesn't know what they're doing.
I feel really bad for what's his name, the head coach? Is it David Coley?
David Coley.
He's going to be Steve Wilkes 2.0. The moment the year is up, he's getting the papers. He's going to go become some defensive assistant next year, or special teams, whatever he was coaching before, because he's going to get shanghaied.
David Coley is a very good offensive passing game coordinator. He's good at that, but he is faced with a near impossible.
I mean, you could be Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, whoever you want to name, you're not getting that Texans team competitive whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Especially in that division with the Colts and Jacksonville drafting their running back / wide receiver in the first round, whatever you want to do with him. And the Tennessee's campaigning for Julio Jones. By the way, how are you going to feel about having Julio out of the division?
I mean,
you got some tweets. You got some drafts ready for the for the Falcoholic. You got some drafts. You got some drafts ready for that.
Oh man, I can't wait! It's gonna be so much fun. But in terms of watching the Falcons play, I'm upset that he's gone because like, who else is gonna fumble the ball 5 times a game? And also, who's gonna take up a spot that they're not gonna target in the red zone?
Oh, they got Kyle Pitts for that now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I can't wait for them to not target Kyle Pitts enough, man. I can't wait for them to misuse him, to draft a tight end at 4 and then just tank his value.
Not to mention, kind of just on paper, the generational talent that he could be. I mean, when you look at Kyle Pitts, and please give me your input on this. When I look at Pitts, his pro comp to me was Calvin Johnson coming out of Georgia Tech. There was just physically, you couldn't stop him. He's just a tight end version of that.
I'll say what I have to say about that is that no one can ever be compared to Calvin Johnson.
That's fair.
I also don't like pro comps that much as well. But if I had to comp him to someone, I don't know.
Darren Waller,
because
Kittle.
Darren Waller, not Kittle, because Kittle's a better blocker.
Oh yeah, Kelsey.
Maybe.
But Kelsey's
again. Those guys are bigger. I don't.
And Ertz in his prime.
Maybe if Jordan Reed had stayed healthy.
Yeah. Hey, that's not nice.
Listen, I was so high on Jordan Reed. I'm upset.
Man.
I'm getting some. This is therapy for me. I don't know. Hey, Kyle Pitts, that team's going to be good. And you know what? Julio was the second best receiver on that team. Was going to be the second best receiver on that team next year. So it's whatever, Calvin Ridley is better than him, so.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, I could agree with that.
The Falcons are. I'm not worried about the Falcons. They're bad.
We said the same thing about Tampa last year, and look what happened.
Okay, well, there's a difference between Tom Brady.
Correction. Some of Saints Twitter was saying that about Tampa, and we know which fans those are.
Listen, there's a difference between Tom Brady and Matthew Ryan. I don't remember.
You're about to say.
I don't remember his middle name.
You're about to say his middle name.
Matthew Thomas Ryan.
Is it really Thomas?
It is Thomas.
God.
Man. And then between Matthew Thomas Ryan and Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Brady Jr.
Yeah, I guess there is a difference, maybe.
But looking at the offseason, and all, now we have Samuel Richard Darnold as well in the division.
And then we got Jameis
Leonard Winston or Taysom Hill. I'm not going to say his middle name. I don't know it.
Or
I know all of these by memory. I'm not looking them up. I know why Sean Payton really likes Taysom Hill. I know why. I figured it out.
No, what is it? You got the secret?
Yeah, his middle name is Sean. Taysom Sean Hill. I know it now. You get it now.
It just makes too much sense now, right?
I want to ask you, Alec.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Who is going to be the Saints quarterback week 1?
It's really hard because I think the logical and obvious answer should be Jameis, right? Mm-hmm. But the weird thing is, Sean Payton hasn't he said it's gonna be an open camp battle. Jason and Tamus are gonna duke it out, and just the fact that Sean is giving Taysom a shot at the job, to me, tells me that last year, because last year when you start Taysom 4 games, we all just thought that was just for this year, and it stops right there.
Yeah.
But I think Sean's ego is just so... He wants to prove everybody wrong, right? Like, that's the kind of guy he is. So I think if he thinks he's a shot to win with Taysom as a starter, he's going to play Taysom and, put middle fingers in all of our faces.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I hope it's Jameis.
It's not at all decided. It is 50-50 at this point. They don't know what they're going to do. They probably, if I had to guess, are just as confident that it's going to be someone not on the roster next year. So,
you think Jameis plays his way out of New Orleans next year or this year?
If he gets the shot, maybe he might not even get the shot to. Sean really wants Taysom to work out.
Yeah, he does.
Really, it's really kind of selfish, but I respect it.
I do.
Throw everything else under the bus and get yours, Sean. I'm approaching this season. I either want to make a Super Bowl run because Jameis, balls out and we're better than we were last year because of a limited quarterback, or I want to lose every game.
Yep.
Me and Ross talked about this. My worst nightmare for this team is to go 9-8 and be somewhere in the middle,
and then get bounced in the first round if you make the playoffs.
Yeah, or be like an 11-6 team that makes the playoff, loses round one.
And to me, really shouldn't have been there. And to me, like 11-6 is probably the ceiling of this team, just because as we mentioned, the uncertainty at the quarterback. Because at least every year beforehand, I could look and go, okay, we have Drew Brees at quarterback. He can probably get us 4 or 5 wins on his own.
But there is a real possibility that whoever plays at quarterback next year is going to be better than he was last year.
Well, last year, yeah.
I'm
3 years ago, yeah.
Yes. I'm talking about specifically last year.
Yep.
With how limited he was and has admitted to being, like, there's a real chance that Jameis or Taysom plays better than he did all of last year.
Or Ian Book. No.
Or Jameis or Taysom.
Or
Ian Book is not the truth. Right. I like Ian Book.
Did you like the pick or did you question it? The Ian Book pick.
Let's do a little role play.
Okay.
You be Roger Goodell saying that the Saints take Ian Book, and I'll play my reaction.
Okay. All right. So everyone comes in booing me per usual, and I go,
boo,
yeah, thumbs
boo,
up,
boo,
love it.
Boo,
all right. With the I don't know what number it was. Blah 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 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. New Orleans Saints select Ian Book, quarterback, Notre Dame.
I started press on. I was like, huh? What? That is the most Saints pick of all time.
It could have been Sam Ellinger. It could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
It could have been Ellinger.
I don't hate Ian Book. We talked to Ian Book at the Senior Bowl, and the way he described himself was a mixture of Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and Baker Mayfield.
That's a really unique trio.
And all that really meant is I'm fast, short, and white.
And I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
I love that. That's in your head. You're thinking, that's the takeaway I'm getting from this. That's the takeaway I'm getting.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. I was like, okay, and short. That's really kind of how he plays.
You're short. You got some touch on the ball. You're white.
Only thing I'll point to, with Ian Book and his role with the Saints is that he had the same exact RES score and similar testing numbers as Austin Carr, and I'll leave it at that.
Yikes! Why you gotta do that, man?
He tested pretty much the same as Austin Carr, and I think he might just teach him how to play piano, and he'll be Austin Carr.
I love it. Oh man, that's great stuff. But I mean, that's all about what we got here, Dylan. Really quick here, give you the opportunity to put out your work, anything you got going on for the people. Where can they find you at, and all of your great and hilarious posts on the Canal Street at?
You can find me at Dilly Sanders. You can find me at Saints CSC. I am the social media director there. I'm not the only one that makes tweets from there.
But I know when it's you.
I'm you'll know when it's me, and I'm the main one that deletes tweets over there that other people tweet out. I do stuff still with like Whole Nine Sports, Full Press. Me and Ross at Full Press Radio. I do a bunch of stuff. I'm with the manship school at LSU. I'll be writing about LSU next year with LSU. So like,
you're Nick Underhill's intern.
I'm Nick Underhill's intern. Listen, I really did it for the hat. If I don't get a New Orleans football hat, it was all for nothing.
Hey. Nick, give him the hat.
Listen, please, I'm begging.
That's all this kid wants is the hat. Nothing else.
Exactly. But yeah, no, follow us. Thank you for having me on, Alec. It was fun.
Hey, of
I had a
course,
fun
my
time.
guy. It's always a pleasure to have one of the old guys from the gang.
Oh yeah, we'll always be the All Saints Considered gang. Before
there's like 4 of us,
before NPR really came for us and threw us under the bus.
Hey, that was a tough period. I thought, holy crap, like what is going? Like, we're done. We're about to get sued the crap out of.
Yeah, really, I really did not have NPR taking us down on my bingo card.
Yeah, that was like that was like the gazillionth way I would have thought that's how it would have ended.
But and you know what? NPR hasn't made a Saints-based podcast yet, so I don't know what the whole deal was. I'm joking. They do have their whole all blank considered thing, but it's whatever.
It's really where they have that one particular yeah. That was.
We should have fought him. We should have fought him.
We should have taken him to court.
And by that I mean no, I meant go to the headquarters and start throwing hands with whoever sent us a cease and desist.
What I mean by is we all initially, agreed to go to court, and then we all back out and just leave Ross and Tyler to do it.
Yeah. And then go beat up someone.
Yeah, and then we decide we wake up and choose violence that day, and
Yeah, we'll beat up the witness or whatever.
We throw up hands even if we win. Even if we win, we still go throw hands.
Exactly.
No matter what. I mean, no matter what, you get in these hands.
Exactly. Man, I gotta say, one thing I'll say before we go. I want to point out, I'm just happy that sports are back and getting back. I can't wait to go to a Saints game. I cannot wait. Oh, I cannot wait to go to an LSU Tigers game. I've been missing that experience so much. I went to an LSU softball game. I lost my voice. I was all crazy. I was in a full stadium again for the first time in over a year, and it just felt so good. It felt so good to be back.
I agree. Sports, nature is returning to the way it once was, except for the fans. Throwing that's
Listen,
not cool.
Just respect people, man.
Oh God,
please.
Like you said, treat athletes like people, because that's ultimately what they are.
Exactly.
Like, I don't come into your corporate business to throw water bottles at you.
I might though.
I mean, you throw hands at people is what it appears like.
Yeah, listen, if the time comes, man. There was that whole time in Saints Twitter where people were trying to fight because of AJ Green.
Oh, that AJ Green woke up to Nola. Golly. And then not even the whole, the whole.
Oh yeah, the whole other thing.
Yeah, his partner at the time.
Oh
yeah,
man,
that thing. I don't know why people. That's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. Saints Twitter is just something else.
Like,
man.
they show me another team that has a Twitter fan base like the Saints. I promise you're not gonna find it.
You're not.
Exactly.
Even on days where there's nothing happening. Man. All right, Alec. Thanks for having me on, man.
Of course, my guy.
I don't know where this went all over the place.
It's okay. That's what we do over here. We like to ramble. But Dylan, thanks again so much for coming on, guys. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. Make sure to follow Dylan on Twitter at Dilly Sanders, as well as the Canal Street Chronicles. All great content, podcasts, articles. Just a fun piece for you guys to read. So check it all out. That's gonna take this here. We'll be back with Dade next week.
Congrats, Dayton.
Yep. So that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week.